Because I do think aspects of technique sort of shape the way that you play in all different styles, okay? For those who don't know Moeller technique, okay, a lot of it has to do, now Matt brings up a very good point about Moellers, that a lot of it is about this, you know, you may see Jojo Mayer do this thing where he comes up with his wrist and does this whole thing and then it, you know, spins over the top of your head and comes down. That's a good explanation of where it all sort of is, you know, comes from a root position, but from a playing position, a lot of it is actually basically where your wrist moves first. A lot of people do this immediately from their stick, okay? Now this is more the Gladstone technique where you have a full stroke and you come off the pad. Moeller technique, your wrist is going to come up, followed by your arm, and then you strike the drum directly down, and as you prepare for your next stroke, you're tapping on the way back up again. So for a two-stroke Moeller, it's sort of a whip and a tap, and a whip and a tap. I'd like actually you guys to do this with me. So start like this. Everybody put their hand out like this, okay? Not up, out, okay? Now move your wrist up, come up, follow your arm, and then whip down, okay? Now tap once, move your wrist back up again, tap again. Okay, as we go faster, sorry about that. This is my first day playing drums. Yeah, okay. So this is the basic general idea of sort of a, you know, Moeller technique in time. And I see a lot of you guys still kind of going up with their fingers like this. It's more the wrist. Now one of the things that the Moeller technique does when you do this is it puts a little bit of what's called dimension into your playing. This is just basically a single stroke with your right hand going tap, 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 tap. But you guys can all hear that there's an element of groove there. Okay, like an accent, non-accent, accent, non-accent. All right? That applies to things like groove and certain stylistic things behind the drum set. I'm just gonna go back. So, here's a little exercise for you guys. Here's a little exercise for you guys who want to apply Moeller technique to a standard groove. All right, first of all, we're talking about our right hand. And if anybody knows how to play a drum groove and plays very straight, that's very usable and it works in a lot of situations. But if you really want to dig in, you have a lot more, you know, dimension to your groove there. For those who want to develop more of that feel, the idea is to keep this Moeller technique going on downbeat accents on 1, 2, 3, and 4, and work exercises against it. So a good exercise to start with is a standard groove. For those who can read, standard groove, bass drum on 1 and 3, snare drum on 2 and 4, and what you'll do is you'll move your bass drum and snare drum 1/16th note up each time, okay? So it'll first be on the downbeats, then it'll be on the 1 E and a 2 E and a, and then 1 and 2 and then finally 1 E and a 2 E and a. And it'll sound like this. Your downbeats. As I did that, you never lost the concept of where the groove was, okay? So it takes a little while to adjust to how that works, getting the Moeller technique down. For those who are just starting on it, grab a pad when you get home, start with both hands, mirror image, the wrist comes up first, you drop down to your accent, you could work 2s, 3s, all right, and 4s, and so on and so forth. And that'll give you different aspects of Moeller. Everybody understand that? Questions? Good? All right. Karen? Anybody?
Yeah, I was going to go into this a little bit too when I play some mounts for you guys as well. With that, as far as how it relates to other percussion instruments, yes, a lot of people. I was actually in high school. I was playing a lot of traditional because that's what my teacher played in high school. And then when I got over to do my undergrad, I was switched back over to match. I started out match when I was young. And it transfers nicely to if you're going to be learning how to play timpani, if you're going to be learning how to play mallets, it just applies more. This whole thing with flipping over the left hand to the traditional was kind of snare drum and drum set oriented. But one thing that these other guys didn't talk too much about is fulcrum. Does anybody know what that word means?